mental health issues that are undiagnosed or unnoticed, and yet it can be observed in their behavior and so on.
It's definitely something that require a lot of experience to discuss on this topic. And without further ado, allow me to actually introduce our special guest for tonight, a good friend of mine. Kita pun dah lama tak jumpa dia, tapi Alhamdulillah through lelaman sosial dan media sekarang ni, Masya Allah. And dia banyak berbakti kepada masyarakat dengan dia punya baking skills dia, kan. So, and he also been featured before or even participate before dalam siri dalam Cake Champion di Suria. Dan izinkan saya memperkenalkan our special guest for tonight, iaitu Aidil Arsad.
Halo, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Apa khabar? Baik.
Alhamdulillah.
How are you, Aidil? Sihat?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me for this seeker session. Like, I've watched a couple of the episodes on FB Live. I think one was the recent one was with Ryan Sufyan, was it?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Yes. I enjoyed like hearing him talking about apa ni like I don't claim myself as someone from the entertainment industry lah, tapi sedikit sebanyak like I kind of macam terkena sikit lah kan, because like we are unable to like go out and do jobs and nak buat recording and stuff, production things. So yeah, I can relate to him. So that was a very good insightful interview actually.
Masya-Allah.
Thank you.
Masya-Allah. But okay, currently you are also affected due to this circuit breaker, because I believe your operation wise in terms of you do a lot of production, or you do a lot of tutorials and for people to do baking. So how is it like for you during the circuit breaker period?
Oh wow, I don't know where to begin, especially when we first got to know bila news break out like 24 hours, Singapore had to go to this intensive circuit breaker. That time bila baru-baru tu like it was a mixed emotion for me because first of all, I'm highly introverted. So actually, I don't mind staying at home. I actually prefer to like do things at home by myself. Like I could pick up a new skill. So I was like looking forward to it until bila pertengahan tu macam like the second week coming, like I'm unable to go out. And then cause I'm also a part of the home-based business, and then kita tak boleh do any sales at all. So it was a very, very trying period for me. I started to kirakan, not relapse lah, but I had like some minor panic attacks here and there, like thinking about what's going to happen. Because kalau macam orang macam I ni, like I usually would think of the worst case scenario. So I was like thinking macam, how am I going to earn money like right after this, and things are not going to be the same. So it was a mixed emotion. Firstly, I was like happy dapat duduk rumah, stay out of the public. And then second thing, like work related issues. And then there are days also where I need some social activities and then I can't do that. And then I think the worst part was because I'm not staying with my parents. That was the most emotional part for me. Time bulan puasa, I can't like sahur and buka with my own mother. So that was like a bit sad for me. But
yeah, I understand from your point of view, because kita hidup secara community. Even kalau kalau kita tak dapat jumpa parents ataupun keluarga, tetap we have friends where we normally duduk bersembang dengan dorang, duduk kat kedai kopi ataupun kat cafe, for hours. I think that circuit breaker period really affect everyone actually in Singapore.
Definitely, yeah, correct. I agree.
In terms of the social aspect also, I think is very crucial for each individual punya well-being and on their daily life. So far, how do you deal with it during the time of circuit breaker?
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Like during for now, I've not been I don't require any medications lah. I was actually being discharged from therapy um somewhere late last year in November 2019. So I dah kirakan not um like I don't require therapy, but then um there are days whereby macam it will still hit me. So um, I'm kirakan I'm fully equipped with the techniques and ways on how to overcome should there be any relapse lah. So yeah, alhamdulillah, like I'm able to practice whatever that was being taught to me by my psychologist. So if I may share some
Please.
of the tips that I've been doing lah, that was taught during my therapy sessions is one of it, which I find very effective, is the grounding technique. So there's a lot of ways lah and techniques that anybody can practice, but terpulang lah pada masing-masing. Like if you are comfortable with one technique or even two, you can try it out, and if it works, then just go with it. So the grounding technique is actually making use of your five senses, your sense of sight, hear, smell, and so on. So what I was taught that if let's say I feel like something is amiss ataupun my heart started to like macam pound very fast, that's where I can find myself in the most vulnerable situation, and that is so-called like the best way for anxiety attack to come in. So in order for me to overcome that, sebelum actually that panic attack serang I, they call it serangan panic lah. So before it actually comes to me, I do grounding technique. One of the example that I learned is through the sense of smell, because I'm an avid perfume collector, so I sukakan bau-bauan. So I have like oils with me anywhere or kat mana-mana I nak pergi pun. Kalau if I need to go out, I have like bottles of essential oils, or kalau boleh kalau tak ada pun medicated oil pun jadilah. So if you can see like right next to my bed here kat sini, banyak oil kat situ. All my aromatherapy is all there. So you name it lah, lavender ke eucalyptus, apa ke benda semua I ada. So I'll just rub it on my palm on my hands. Lepas tu I inhale it lah. Then from there I'm able to like regulate in my own thoughts, trying to describe the smell. How does it smell like? Like you start to imagining things just from that scent. So kirakan if let's say I tengah sniff bau lavender, I try to imagine myself in a lavender field filled with like purple flowers all around me. It was so serene, it's so calming, and I'm actually in a very safe space. So I close my eyes, I think about it. Then bila kita try to use that technique in our mind, dengan tak secara langsung, we are actually calming ourselves down because we are talking to ourselves, and then we are talking to ourselves means we are in a state of peace. And then from there, when you are in peace, you are able to breathe properly. So once you have regulated that breathing, you punya heartbeat pun turun to normal.
Normalize.
Yeah, and then from there you are able to calm yourself down. Then you are able to think properly, because once you dah macam dah kacau bilau punya state, you cannot think. Walaupun orang suruh you sabar, dia tak akan masuk, because you yourself are controlling your mind and your body. So you yourself need to be in that state. So kalau ada, let's say if someone else, your loved ones, you tengok dia ada panic attack, the first thing you should do is you yourself to become, because that person needs you to become in order for him or her to become. Second thing, you approach him or her nicely. You cakap dengan dia, okay, I am here for you. Let's go through this together. Tak payah nak tanya-tanya questions. You don't need to ask, are you okay? Can you breathe? You nak suruh dia mengucap ke apa, tak payah. Just because you know dia tak dalam
Keadaan
belum
normal
lagi but you sendiri tahu yang dia tu ada panic attack. So you tak payah tanya a lot of questions. You just be there for him or her, then help to regulate his or her breathing. Kalau tak ada dia punya grounding technique, you yourself be the technique, as in be the grounding technique. So use your sense of touch. You pegang tangan dia, know that he is safe, then you tell him, okay, now you follow my breathing. So you are actually instructing him to follow and listen to you. Because sekarang dia dah tak boleh dengar apa-apa, dia dah macam like really like fish out of water experience. So bila that person is actually telling you, okay, let's breathe with me. So let's breathe in 1, 2. So you do the counting slowly, pelan-pelan. So dia boleh ikut. Then once dia dah ikut, that means they are able to regulate their breathing. So you are in a safe space. Then from there, baru you nak tanya dia macam apa-apa ke benda ke, macam do you have any is anything like that has triggered you to be in that kind of state. And then from there you can ask the Q&A session. Kalau tak, during that moment, because it is a crisis for us. When we are having a panic attack, it really feels like I thought I was going to die when I had my first experience of panic attack, because I didn't know it was an anxiety attack. So I tak tahu. I thought I ada heart attack. I ingatkan I nak mati. Like seriously, I told my boss. It happened at work the other time. I told my boss, can you please call A&E? I was still like panting lah. I was gasping for air. Macam like literally like fish out of water experience. I tak tahu macam mana kalau ikan tu you bawa keluar daripada aquarium. Tapi I rasa I macam ikan tu lah. So yeah. So that is one of the techniques lah that I learned, which I was able to practice lah during this circuit breaker. Ada banyak lagi tips lah, but I'll share maybe later.
Okay, because actually when you're sharing about tips on how to tackle with such panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and things like that, because we go back to how I mean in terms of to the beginning lah, as in because you have experienced all these, and it's something that is very it can be very traumatizing for someone, but for the outsider, they look at it as something that is probably not as serious, but when you yourself are going through it, it is something that can be very scary lah. And so in that sense, right, do you find that like that there are people around who are experiencing the same thing? Do you happen to be able to come across people who also experience some mental health issues that you have faced and so on?
Oh, okay. Well, that is a very good question. And Shaima, I like the word you used, which was traumatizing, because it was indeed a traumatized experience for me. Kalau orang yang tak pernah melaluinya, they won't know. And one of the diagnoses that I got from my doctor was PTSD, which in full is
post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah.
Stress disorder. Yeah. So you can tell from the word itself that it is very scary for someone who has been diagnosed with that situation. I mean, with that kind of diagnosis, and then having to deal with all the situations pertaining to PTSD. Going back to your questions, is it? Can I clarify your question was kalau I am like for a mental illness patient, are we able to like detect someone else who has, is it?
No, macam as in you ada kenal anybody along the way in your life who have
Before this.
experienced, yes, or even after when you were discovered, yeah.
Yes, okay. I got your question. And this is actually a very good question for me to highlight. It's because of this particular person on Instagram who was diagnosed with depression um, actually is the reason for me to go out and seek help. Kalau tak ada orang ni,
Nice.
I don't think I am strong enough to go out.
Mm.
Although I feel the need for me to actually seek treatment at that point of time. It's because okay, so cerita dia macam gini. I was going through a phase of confusion. It happened to me kirakan just few years back actually. It's not even macam cerita dulu-dulu. In my late 20s actually. Probably like 29, 30 macam gitu. So it was getting so dark. I was experiencing a lot of emotion. Most of it are negative. I noticed myself changing to be the person I'm not. I got rowdy. I started to hurl like vulgarities. Macam things were not normal lah to me because I see myself as fun-loving, very chill, very laid back. Although very quiet, but I usually don't portray myself as someone who is macam sombong or unapproachable. So what happened was on my IG, I usually I like to post like inspirational quotes or kalau ada doa ke mana-mana yang I jumpa from any asatiza that I follow, then I will just share to my followers. And that point of time, I started to share things that were very dark. Macam like I'm useless, like I feel I'm good for nothing, like macam things were not like rainbows and butterflies for me lah. So one of the followers actually picked this up as a symptom for him lah.
I see.
Then he was just a random follower. I tak kenal dia, kita tak pernah jumpa pun. But then he followed me and then he DM me, he asked me like how my day was at that point of time. I remember. Lepas tu dia cakap, is there anything that you want to tell me? I cakap, first of all, like, I don't know you, why would I want to share things with you? Macam, kau ni reporter ke mana? Macam nak tahu, like, is there anything that I want to share with you? Like okay. So, I was very skeptical with his question and I got offended. Dengan I punya kepala otak full of negative thoughts, lagi like macam, like, put my guards up. Until bila dia tiba-tiba, out of nowhere, dia share je. Dia cakap, actually, I don't mean no harm. I just wanted to tell you that I am diagnosed with depression. And then he didn't even let me reply or complete my sentence. Dia boleh nampak I tengah typing dekat dalam IGDM dia. Dia keep continuing like send all his story, you know. Terus, then at one point of time, I stopped typing, so I just held my phone. I tengokkan je. So I was actually reading his message without actually replying or even saying anything. I diamkan je. I tengok, I baca. Lepas tu bila satu-satu sentence terkeluar, lepas tu I tried to process and I tried to hadamkan. Like, what is dia punya intention of telling me this? Like, initially I got offended because, like, are you trying to say that I am mentally unstable? So I got offended. Lepas tu I rasa macam, dia ni dah kenapa? Like, first of all, I don't know you. Then lepas tu bila I see his pure intention of him sharing to me that dia at one point of time also didn't believe that he had depression because dia cuma bilang dia pergi holiday, dia balik holiday, 1 week later he doesn't feel like going to work. Terus he had all these negative thoughts. Dia setakat pergi poliklinik just to check kalau dia sakit as in demam or batuk, something like that. Very, very general punya jumpa doktor. Tapi terus doktor dia balik, doktor diagnose dia depression. I was like, wow, kau pergi poliklinik untuk sakit lain, kau balik dapat sakit lain, and then now you got this like a huge tight slap on your face that you have to deal with this reality that you are actually have mental illness. And yet this person can go to another stranger, which is me, and share his dark, deepest, like sad
Secrets.
story. Exactly. Because not everybody is so strong enough to actually tell you, hey, I got this. Like, especially to a stranger. Because a stranger can do anything with that piece of information. And then bila I slowly macam put that kirakan that pure intention into my head and see it on a positive side, that's where I started to read and check about mental illness. First of all, I cuma Google depression. Tu je. That's one word, depression. That's it. Semua, all the WebMD lah, all the medical definition is semua keluar kat situ. And then I feel like it's getting a bit too macam clinical. Macam dia tak masuk in my emotion lagi. So I need the emotional aspect. So I refer back to him. I message dia balik. I think it was like a few days later. I message dia balik. I tanya dia, can I know about depression? But I want to know from your experience, because you don't need to tell me what is depression, because I can just Google it. I have a lot of similar answers dekat Google, but I want to know from your point of view, from a guy's point of view. So dia ceritakan semua tu. I gained that strength after that conversation, and this doesn't even happen through teleconversation. Chat dekat Instagram direct message only. And I gathered that courage. Couple of days later, I pergi poliklinik.
No,
Then
it's
the rest
interesting
is history.
it's interesting how when you brought up about like I mean the so-called friend who came over to Instagram, and I believe that one he's a God sent help for you lah. I mean like your a blessing in disguise, like in a sense, you know. And at the same time, you know, with the signs and symptoms that you were having, you know, having negative thoughts, you know, and then someone comes along and tells you that they are diagnosed with depression, who also displayed the same signs, you know, like of having negative thoughts and all that, and then you know, your diagnosis was different. So it's just interesting how, you know, we do have mental health issues of varying degrees, of different types of mental health issues, yet the signs and symptoms are quite similar with one another. Like, I mean, for me, I can give my example of, you know, when I was studying in Australia, and we had this uni mate, you know, and he was poor thing lah pasal pada he was the only child, and a Chinese boy lah, budak Cina, you know, and nama dia Lawrence, I still remember, and he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So you know, and what happened was he was a bit weird lah, dia macam awkward sikit and everything, but he was a good looking chap. He was a good looking chap from Singapore, and then you know, he would say hi to me, that kind of thing, and then like hi and bye, and then he would walk around with a guitar in his hand, you know, around the school campus, that kind of thing. And he did have a small group of friends lah at that time. And what happened was, I think because he had macam extreme mood swings that actually drove his friends away, because his friends didn't know what was wrong with him, and they thought that he was just macam trying to drive them away, so they didn't know whether they wanted to come close or they wanted to withdraw, you know, that kind of thing. So the sad thing was that, you know, his friends sort of like left him, and that didn't help him at all. In fact, it made matters worse lah, of course, and given that he actually he changed schools. He was studying in Boston at first, and then he didn't get along well over there. So his parents actually moved him to Perth, Australia, to study in Murdoch, where I was studying lah. And so happened that he made some friends and all. Then things didn't work out and all that. And then the next thing I know, a week before he died, he was macam super friendly with me. Macam because we went from high and by, and then suddenly he starts to macam like ask me to hang out dengan dia, and we took selfies together. It was really macam so weird because I was like, tak pernah say dia ni, like wanna hang out, then suddenly nak hang out, that kind of thing. So I mean sorry lah, I mean this one I it's a little bit sensitive lah, but then I will just bring this up because it's based on my experience lah. And he decided to put an end lah to his life. And then that there were notes that he left to the train station manager, to his parents and everything. We went to his funeral. His mother was hysterical and things like that, didn't know what to do. So I mean, this is actually something that kita boleh belajar daripada sini, is that we don't know what our friends are going through, that kind of thing. And his friends really regretted that they did not take the step to get to know what was going on, that kind of thing. So this is actually something that can really help our friends out there lah.
Saying about that, Ashima, you mentioned about friends being the influencer, right, to all these be it positive or negative, it still provide that kind of input to the person who is receiving it lah, especially for those yang suffered from all these mental issues lah. And not just friends, as much as we want to be aware of, family members also play a very important role for those who actually suffer from all these issues, you see. So semua nak kena mainkan peranan mereka. Tapi before they can play their role, they should understand this issue. So that's why this platform, we are trying our best to give a reach out to everyone out there, that there is a certain approach that each individual, family members, friends, to approach people with all these mental issues. So nak tanya jugalah for Aidil, what do you what in your opinion, in what aspect that a family member, friends, or whoever that is involved socially with that person who is suffering or going through that kind of phase, what kind of things that they should be aware of, or what kind of sensitivity level that they should actually approach a person who actually go through these mental health issues?
Alright, okay. Actually, Indra, you asked me that question. I was actually going through kind of like my slides. I have like my own notes that I do, and sometimes I would like post on my IG story lah. And then coincidentally, macam betul-betul dia macam tanya like ways to support someone with mental illness. So I shall read to you. There's 8 points that I've noted down.
MashaAllah. Okay,
that I've shared before also. So firstly, going back to your question, when you speak about caregivers, they are actually so-called the frontliners to mental health issues punya patients. Especially for me, I consider my mom to be so-called the doctor, the nurse, the psychiatrist, the therapist. Semua, it all like goes to my mom. Like I really credited her because I think if without her, I don't think I am still here. Because when I was listening to Shaima's punya story too, it got me very emotional lah. Because I was at one point of time, I was in that dark space also. Every single day, boleh katakan lah, every single day I had suicidal thoughts. I even know how am I going to leave the world. I dah plan dah. Cuma yeah lah, I think all these bits and pieces of kirakan like breadcrumbs that someone is actually showing, you have to take it seriously, especially if you know that person has mental illness, so you don't take it lightly lah. But yeah, definitely we are able to use Lawrence punya story as a form of a teachable moment lah for all of us, including for me who is suffering mental illness. So if let's say going back to Indra's punya question tadi, if someone, a caregiver, your loved one, someone you are dealing with a mental illness patient, the first thing that you need to do is to become informed, because knowledge is key. Kalau you tak tahu apa-apa, you don't educate yourself about what is mental illness, or specifically to what your loved one is actually diagnosed with, you are unable to help at all, because you sendiri tak tahu keadaan tu, you don't know that condition, the signs and symptoms, you tak tahu macam mana nak manage, you tak tahu, you don't even have so-called macam the same frequency as your loved ones. Because kalau macam, if let's say, should my mum know that I'm on medication, dia dah tahu I dah pergi doktor, I've been diagnosed, it's official. Tapi my mum, dia tak sama frekuensi dengan I. Dia mati-mati percaya yang anak dia tu kena buat orang, ataupun anak dia punya iman tu macam tak berapa nak tinggi sangat to overcome this so-called sad phase. Definitely she won't be any help for me. I mean, for example lah, because kalau
like
dia
judging
kalau
lah,
dia
kira macam judging gitu.
Jump to conclusion.
Yeah, because dia tak tahu, and she has her own thinking that, oh, anak aku kena gangguan, but then I myself know that I need to eat the medicine, tapi my mother simpan ubat tu, and then I cannot eat, and because my mum don't believe that I have this, and then dia hari-hari dia pasang surah, hoping that surah-surah from Al-Quran tu can help me.
Might help to heal you lah.
Macam, so kirakan ada dua macam bercanggah lah. Because I need the medication, she don't believe in medicine. So because she is not informed, so what I did was personally I told my parents bila they came to IMH the other time, when I macam baru-baru kena diagnose lah, I asked permission from the doctor. My parents will be coming to fetch me. Boleh tak, because alhamdulillah doktor tu Melayu, so it will be better lah for them to communicate language wise. I asked her permission, boleh tak doktor macam terangkan to my parents, especially my mother who is a housewife, like what is whatever that I'm having right now, are you able to explain to them the most simplest form yang diorang boleh faham. So it happened. My parents, diorang duduk dalam in the doctor's office. I tunggu kat luar, hoping that kalau diorang keluar minta they are able to receive this new information about their son and able to support me, because that's all I need. I need their support. So alhamdulillah, ever since that day, my mom was the one who dispense my medicine. Dia yang kasih, as in pukul berapa semua dia tahulah. So because she keep herself informed, dia baca macam risalah or flyers about depression, what is it, lepas tu ada some documentary kat TV pun ada tunjuk here and there. So from there she's able to like teach herself macam mana she can help her own son. So I think to be informed about the situation, I mean the condition, it's essential to me. So you need to have that knowledge. Yeah. And then to
touch, to add on to what you have macam shared about your mum is very well informed about your condition and about your situation. I mean, for some family members, they sad to say they still remain ignorant in certain ways. ignorant in a way where I cannot accept the reality that anak aku ataupun abang aku, kakak aku ataupun my own spouse is going through this condition, this situation right now. And then adding on to the pressure is that societal effect, which is pandangan daripada keluarga-keluarga kita yang terdekat, pandangan daripada neighbours, pandangan daripada orang-orang yang mengenali kita, and that also will add more pressure to person, let's say for the caregiver lah, and add more pressure in a way where it's very hard for me and to accept this reality. And then due to that pressure, it will reflect on how he or she will deal with the person who is suffering from mental health illness. So it's a very good point there where you said that it's good to be well informed and be knowledgeable on this topic, right, and how to deal and step by steps. But the thing is, the first phase where they need to overcome, and the caregiver especially, is that they need to eliminate dorang punya ignorance. They need to eliminate whatever ego they have. They need to eliminate itu sifat rasa macam malu, kan? I think that's the reality of it. Because kalau dorang tak eliminate that, and it's hard for them to deliver the best service to their loved one who is suffering from that mental illness. So yeah, I mean that's just my humble input lah.
That is a very good input because once kalau kirakan I take example for my mother again lah. Once my mother is well informed about my situation, bila dia dengar all these naysayers or suara-suara sumbang ni semua, she's able to retaliate that with
repel
with their negative comments ke, if there's any, she's able to educate them with facts. Because you can't deny facts. Once kalau ini apa yang doktor kata, and kalau Aidil perlukan makan ubat ni, and so, if not what will happen, blah blah blah. I mean obviously there are other ways also lah, which I will share later lah, to on a more holistical approach on how I'm able to deal with my situation other than just medicine. So my mother is able to macam kirakan she's able to nudge all the stresses that may cause into her life, thinking that kalau macam jiran kata macam mana, kalau saudara mara kata macam mana, kenapa Aidil selalu tak datang kalau ada macam keramaian, asyik nak pakai reason dia sakit apa. And then so from now she's able to be upfront about it, be real about it, and also to teach them that okay, this is the reason why he has to go through all this, but then rest assured that he's going to be okay with all of our support. Then from there, they are able to open up and to actually receive that piece of knowledge. Then it will be more receptive lah towards them. Daripada dia kata dia, like it won't happen. Like you have to like put out fire with water, so you use that water as a form of the knowledge that you actually gain.
Talking about conflicts, Aidil, I mean, just want to ask you this one question before you proceed on with the list of the things that you want to share. Conflicts, I mean, like you say, the caregiver is trying to defend his or her loved one who is suffering, and then the naysayers are always there to always give negative inputs, right? Do you think that this friction is caused solely because of personal status?
Probably to a certain extent. But mostly it's what I believe it's ego. Talking about it, I mean it comprises of, like you mentioned also, like status ke, or you know air muka, macam I can understand from the point of view is because it seems like they have failed as parents, because maybe ada something that they have done in the past, or macam things that macam they try to put themselves in like the guilty position yang pasal diorang or like my upbringing may not be as perfect according to them, so they feel like they have failed as parents, so they did not want to macam use that as macam buka aib. Like I would imagine like probably that's like one of the reasons why family members are not so upfront about it.
But
But then you yourself lah.
But to add another defense to our caregivers out there, because I believe they should be given the appropriate credit lah, because dorang like your mother itself, dia dah sacrifice dan mengorbankan banyak untuk for your well-being. And more that I want to discuss on the part where the naysayers out there, orang-orang yang suka mengkritik ni, orang-orang yang mungkin dorang kurang kefahaman. Pasal mulut manusia ni senang kan. Tengok satu benda yang curang, tengok satu benda yang is not normal within kita punya normal society punya status, dorang akan senang komen, dia tu sakit tau, dia ni tak betul tau, anak dia ada sengit sikit. Jadi it's easy for them to comment rather than to understand, you see. So on this aspect is very hard. It's very hard to actually bring out this awareness to kita punya community out there. And I believe this chain of pattern can be stopped in a way where if they come to realization that dorang tak boleh pandang rendah kepada ataupun tak boleh mengambil ringan kepada orang-orang yang melalui sakit-sakit seperti yang kita sebutkan lah. Betul tak? So yalah, I mean, it's just something that I feel that there is a need for us to defend whoever is affected there.
Definitely. Society wise lah. Correct. Macam orang kata macam belum kena batang hidung sendiri, so they don't know how does it feel like to go through living with someone with mental illness or being the person with mental illness. So diorang tak tahu, diorang mengata lah. Definitely, because it's easier to say than to actually learn about it. So kirakan secara tak langsung, my mother is so-called also macam a face of a mental illness punya ally lah, because she herself has represented us. I call ourselves as mental health warriors lah. So she has represented us, the mental health warriors, to the makcik-makcik ni semua, that mental illness is actually something that is very normal, macam sakit biasa juga. It's just that it is not known in our society, especially in our community lah. So then from there makcik-makcik pun okay dia tahu. So makcik-makcik pun can look out for all these signs and symptoms that may occur to their children. So from there, I hope that it could act like as a ripple effect lah. As for me also, as so-called having this platform that Allah has blessed me with a lot of followers, I try to make use of this as beneficial as possible lah, in order for me to stop all this prejudice and all the macam negative thoughts about this lah. So itu baru satu point je tau I cakap. Ada lagi 7 points tak?
Masya Allah. I think if the session is not sufficient enough, tak apa, and insyaAllah kita can have another session of 2.0 for round 2 insyaAllah for our viewers.
InsyaAllah. Yeah. Because this topic, like what Shaiman mentioned just now, it's a whole huge spectrum. You cannot just categorize mental illnesses or depression, bipolar, because it's a huge luas dia punya rangka dia. Like someone with depression may have anxiety disorder, someone with anxiety disorder may have bipolar, so it coincides. Dia macam ada orang ada ni, ada orang ada 2, ada orang 3, ada orang 4. So not all mental health warriors are the same. So dia tak ada macam acuan. There's no hard and fast rule about Okay, kau ada mental illness kan, okay kau buat ni. Itu hari Aidil cakap tau. No, Aidil cakap tu based on what Aidil experience, and you just use it. If let's say you may have some similarities itu je, but then you still need to go out, seek proper treatment. What's best for you, still need to find that out. Don't just listen to Aidil. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe I can share on my bit like as a preschool teacher, because we do have children who have special needs, and some of them are suspected of special needs. So for us as teachers, we have been trained to actually identify, but we don't diagnose lah. Obviously, we cannot diagnose, tapi we have been trained to identify and observe the signs and symptoms that children display, that can be linked to specific or certain behavioral disorders. So for children, it's more on behavioral disorders like autism, speech delay, and so on and so forth. Some children display signs that are very, very obvious, and also this comes out to the fact of acceptance from the parents as well. So the first step is actually acceptance. So from acceptance, and then that's where you think about macam how I can help my child, because when I can help my child, this is how my child can thrive and develop with special attention, and also special techniques that they can pick up from special needs teachers, you see. And so of course, the earlier that they are identified, the better. We call it early intervention, in a sense. And at the same time, as parents, it helps you as well. It helps you as well to understand your child, because it can be very frustrating. So I have children in my school setting, children who would just bang their heads like this. They would flap their hands macam gini, they would clap their hands and things like that. So these are signs, because they cannot express themselves verbally pasal dorang punya speech delay. So they cannot express themselves verbally and and properly, so people cannot understand, so they get frustrated. So the parents also get frustrated. They don't know, what do you want, what is wrong with you, that kind of thing. So and sadly, I mean, of course, it's not easy lah, being parents and having to accept, when the teacher or principal is trying to share with you that, your child is displaying these signs and all that. We are not trying to tell you that, that anak awak menyusahkan kita, tak ada. It has nothing to do with that, but we want to get help for your child. So from the beginning, as parents, it has to be acceptance and to understand that your child needs help, and we cannot help in a sense that we are not in that line of expertise. We are not trained in that area. We are not we don't specialize that area. So it comes to that point. And also I have teachers who are from special needs background, so they share with me on tips on how to calm these children down, because we as teachers, we spend 3/4 of the day with them. So we also get frustrated. What does this child want? Because we are not trained to teach children with special needs. So some of the methods that we learned, that you shared earlier in our sharing session, is that to calm them down. So we do have some of the techniques that we try to calm the children down. We give them back rubs, and we give them shoulder rubs. We hug them, we cuddle with them, because they need to feel that, you see. So because it's something to do with along the lines of the synapses of the brain, so the wiring of the brain is different in a sense. So that's where the education and being well informed comes in lah. Yeah.
Wow. Like when you shared, I macam recollect balik like my experiences working in a special at school. Yeah, like you mentioned just now pasal early intervention. So I was working, kalau if I can do a shout out, at CIPAS dekat Pasir Ris. Like I'm sure the CIPAS teachers are like watching, because diorang kalau apa-apa I post and diorang follow, like we still have this connection.
Nice.
Like all the special ed teachers macam oh Aidil, because I was in the social work department, so I see all the special needs kids ni on the daily lah, because I was the one who was doing with the admission, with the pre-interview, assessment semua. So secara tak langsung, I also get myself informed, educated about what's ADHD, what's ASD, macam mana, how to find out all these symptoms. Yet all this happened way before I was diagnosed. So macam kirakan all this information that is coming into me is kind of like macam dia macam a blessing, you know, because I've already gathered this kind of knowledge that I myself can apply onto myself. So yeah, all these experiences, like especially knowing for someone, kalau if you have anybody who is in the social service industry, kirakan that's like the most vulnerable people to actually get mental illness. I tak tahu lah if I'm just like macam macam masuk bakulan kat sendiri, because I feel like macam I when I was in the industry, I rasa macam I'm holding a lot of emotional baggage of all the clients that I've met on that day. Lepas tu I bawa balik ke rumah. I don't know how to like create a barrier, because although like kita belajar dekat sekolah, social workers, you need to learn about self-care, you need to practice self-care, but you yourself in that position, you tak boleh macam because all these are textbooks. You kalau selagi you tak experience that in like real life occurrences, you won't be able to identify that, because apa je yang you belajar dekat dalam buku yang tebal tu, walaupun dia dah ke otak, like it doesn't go into your heart, because once you feel it, you really like when you say you accept it, then from there you will tepis the denial stage. That's when after you accept it, okay, I have accepted that I have this, then I'm able to get in all the knowledge, all the treatment. Aku kena tahu, okay, this is useful for me, okay, because I accepted it, okay, aku makan ubat, okay, I accepted this, okay, can you please share with me, I want to know more, because I've already in the acceptance stage. Kalau I'm still denial, macam tak adalah, aku belajar dulu, tak ada lagi ni lah, tak ada, aku tak sakit ni, aku tak sakit, because you're still denying lah, like so macam dia macam teringat balik lah bila I was in SIPAS last time. Budak-budak tu semua so cute.
Masya Allah, Masya Allah. It looks like kita punya time actually have exceeded kita punya.
Dia macam dah jerat gitu.
But
banyak
actually,
all like it's a lot of things to share and a lot of things to learn. Like I myself am still learning, even though I macam gini, tapi I there's a lot of things that I need to learn. So I've learned a lot from both of you.
Tak adalah, Masya Allah. I mean, for you also we learn a lot from your experience. Masya Allah malam ni, Masya Allah.
No, but what I find is important that you mentioned about how social workers tend to be very vulnerable. It's got a lot to do with energy. So the energy transfer can be a dangerous thing in a sense that, because kalau you seorang yang maybe lemah semangat ataupun you are not
Emotional.
Emotionally strong, then it can rub off on you see. So like for some people macam it's you learn about psychology, you have all the books and all that, but at the end you are dealing with people and it has a lot to do with energy transfer. So macam the social workers can also come home dah bagus-bagus tak ada problem, habis lepas tu ada problem, buat problem sendiri, that kind of thing. So because of the energy transfer, so there are some people, and I can identify myself as one of them, is that I tend to absorb negative energy easily. So I tend to get affected. So that's where macam we have to remind ourselves, and then the essential oils come in and all that, because I also use essential oils, and when you inhale it, it goes into your system and it goes into your your brain and all that. Yes, it does. So that's the effects you see, and it does help a lot with the repelling negative energy, that kind of thing. So in that manner, for to be a counselor, to be a psychiatrist, and sometimes you don't even have to go that far. Even being a family member, the energy transfer can also happen, obviously. So kalau you like your ini tak kuat, nanti kadang-kadang you pun sendiri macam you mengamuk dengan this person, but this person is the one with the condition and you are the one who is just getting the energy transferred over. So that's where being your emotional strength has to be worked on lah. Yeah.
Correct.
Talking about essential oils, I myself have benefited a lot from essential oil.
Our children as well, yes. Our children dari
Influence lah. Simon
So
influence dia lah.
the
yes.
positive energy comes to me lah.
Good,
Tapi yang
good influencer.
tapi yang bayar tu dia.
Yes, yes. You should see I have how many drawers of essential oils also.
Oh,
Itu part kita
right.
boleh share on a separate occasion.
Kan, yeah.
Yeah.
Masya Allah.
Yeah. Maybe just picking where you left just now about apa ni, loved ones takut diorang pun ter-attract dengan all that energy kan. Like to my second point is to be there to listen. You just need to listen. You don't need to offer advice. You don't need to say anything. Tak payah nak quote-quotekan daripada
Yes.
buka Quran. Okay, kau baca surah ni apa? Oh, Nabi dulu pun. Yes, it's a separate issue. I mean, obviously we know a lot of people in this world are going through tough times, but you can never compare to the person in front of you. Please validate that person's emotion at that point of time. Please make it please validate dia punya kesusahan apa yang dia lalui. Although to you it's like very simple. Oh, BGR issues, alah kau break up matain kau. Sudahlah, aku dah berapa banyak kali. And don't ever compare to yourself with whatever experience that orang tu share. Just dengar, be there for him or her. Kalau if you don't want to help, you tell that person off nicely. Kalau you dah habis semua, okay, then you don't commit yourself to, okay, lepas ni kita pergi jumpa doktor, or lepas ni aku nak check on kau lagi whether kau okay. If you cannot to have that commitment, don't commit.
But
Just be an outlet lah. They need an outlet lah basically sometimes.
Just to add on, and then I want to maybe open this discussion to both of you. Saying about being there and listening to kita punya loved one who is suffering and going through this mental state. Ada kala for some, dorang rasa macam leceh lah aku nak dengar kau punya membebel, popek 2 jam, 3 jam just about kau punya mental health state. You know, sometimes people just on the reality side, it can get them bored with dorang punya stories and but yalah, like you said just now, BGR je kan, aku go through a lot of kesusahan hidup, engkau berbual pasal BGR sini, but that BGR issue is affecting their mental state, where the listener use a denial effect, macam alah benda kecil je apa, asal kau nak besar-besarkan, but without realizing it, benda yang kecil itulah yang affect and trigger the mental state. Whereas for some individuals out there, dorang punya capacity of handling dorang punya emotion dengan dorang punya mental state is stronger. That's why dorang can go through a bigger test in life, and macam okay, benda-benda yang lebih macam tu lebih lebih mendugakan lah. But the thing is, not everyone is the same, right? So maybe I want to open this discussion, maybe to Aidil first. Do you think the point that I bring out just now is very relevant in order to produce the best listening ears to the person yang affected by this mental illness tak?
I think that speaks volume for someone, for a person actually to share dia punya kesusahan. Probably macam, okay, maybe we can see the degree of dia punya situation lah. Kalau you rasa orang ni macam just wanted to share with you pasal dia punya kesedihan, because you need to know, being depressed and clinically depressed, these are two separate and totally different situation. So kalau kau tahu orang tu sedih, you yourself are able, you tak payah jadi psychiatrist pun lah, you sendiri boleh tahu tahap orang tu, because you know that person, obviously, like kau tahu tahap keupayaan dia to deal with this crisis in his life. So from there you are able to know whether dia ni clinically depressed or not. But then definitely you don't kind of like macam suka-suka hati lah kan, nak prescribe orang medicine semua. you can tell lah kalau macam okay, dia ni sedih because um, masalah boy girl relationship lah, for example. Then from there you can listen, then you can offer your advice. Okay, macam gini. Then you try to create a different scenario whereby you try to macam buat dia lupa pasal that person, or try to macam jangan kasi dia check handphone, nanti takut macam dia go through like messages dulu. So you be there as that kind of supportive friend. Tapi kalau you sendiri tahu yang orang tu memang pernah diagnose dengan with mental illness, so from there you are able to gauge already, okay, probably this person is sharing pasal okay, kematian bapak dia lah, for example. So you can tell that losing someone, a dear person in your life, it is very kirakan it's a very depressing thing, especially for someone who is diagnosed with depression. So your kind of tone, your technique, macam mana nak approach, it has to be totally different daripada BGR tadi. You kalau dia nak nangis, biar kasih dia nangis. Kalau you rasa you have the energy to actually be there for that person whenever, when I say whenever, means 24/7 tau. Kalau dia call you or message you, you better be there, because this person has put their 101 trust in you. Because for someone who's dealing with mental illness, it's very hard for them to actually open up and trust someone to tell all their deepest secrets. So once this person has already trusted you, that means this person really betul-betul want you to be there, because dia rasa comfortable in you. Dia rasa he like he can confide in you about anything to make him feel safe. Because kalau one day kalau dia message, aku rasa aku nak terjun, dia rasa that you are actually his safety blanket to actually make him not think about it. Because orang yang cakap, for example, just from my own knowledge, from what I've gathered and also from what I've experienced, most of the time orang yang nak have the intention to commit suicide, probably like 70 to 90% they don't want to do it. It is just a cry for help. It's not a cry for attention, but it's a cry for help. That's all. Okay, but then sadly lah, the remaining percentage yang really do it, probably because diorang betul-betul dah buntu lah. They don't see the light at the end of the road. They cannot see anything that is going to help them, or sadly those yang tak seek treatment, so they don't know how to deal with it, so they ended their life lah. But yeah, I mean, back to your point tadi pasal macam, if kalau macam dia ni macam nak menyanyi, aku macam nak dengar dia membebel, if you don't feel like you have the capacity to actually be there for that person, you refer him or her to a professional. Like right now there's a lot of agencies and like organizations that is there to help. Especially like I am like 100% macam I memang fully, mana I berbual pun, I fully endorse Club Heal. This Club Heal founded by Dr. Radia Salim. I've attended their talks and I've also give talks with them, with one of the supervisor and also Dr. Radia herself. So I've shared the same stage as her. So I get a lot of inputs about the good work that they have done and how they are supporting the community. So kalau for those who don't know, boleh Google after this lah, but probably I'll just share just a bit lah about Club Heal. They are actually they have few branches in Singapore. Ada kat West, ada kat North, ada East side baru buka, and then they actually offered free services. Not I may or may not get this right lah, but I'm so sorry. But from what I know, they offered counselling help for free. Probably there will be just one-time admin fee, that's all. But please go and check up on them and then read what they have been doing thus far and how they are able to support you, especially for people with mental illness. They are very upfront and very helpful towards the community. They even got like macam endorsed by the president herself, and also I'm friends with one of the counselors there, Ustaz Fauzi. So yeah, so macam yeah, there's other organizations lah, definitely, and also there's self help apa books, also hotline. Please don't forget SOS Samaritans of Singapore. Please Google, it's a 24-hour hotline. Should you ever feel macam ada suicidal tendencies, go and call them. 24 hours free hotline. Call them, they are able to assist you. I think that single phone call
Might save your
able
life
to
lah.
help.
Goes a
Yeah,
long
just
way.
save one life. I'm good enough. Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
InsyaAllah.
Yeah, I find it interesting that they have these organizations to help to create awareness of mental health issues, which I find is quite heavily neglected in Singapore. And I've also shared this with Indra earlier that macam with this mental health as compared to physical health, macam sebelum you masuk, you enter this pekerjaan, then you nak kena go through medical checkup, and I have always wondered about this because I do have some friends who are in this line. One of my friends is a mental health nurse, and so macam for me, it's something that probably I would bring this topic up on a separate occasion, where macam to raise the importance of because people say that, oh, you must go through a medical checkup. I think having a mental health checkup is also just as important bila nak enter a pekerjaan ataupun nak naik pangkat, and all this kind of thing, because sometimes macam kalau you think about it, like there are people out there in the workplace or in higher management, in top management, they might have an underlying mental issue that can impact on their subordinates tau, but it's undiagnosed. Macam for example, narcissistic personality disorder, for example, and if these people are in top management, then the people below them will suffer, because to be in the top management, you need to have a listening ear and all these kind of things. So macam to me, I feel that having a medical checkup also just as important to have also a mental health checkup as well lah. Yeah, because from there at least kalau orang dah aware, macam okay, my colleague, because like so for some of I have a colleague who ada a mental punya diagnose mental health disorder, so it helps us to macam understand kenapa behaviour dia is as such, and kita tak macam end up like in arguments or anything, because kita faham, kita understand where she is coming from, so that helps, you see, and who knows, it might also help with a lot of macam workplace issues out there, so that's also one of the things for me lah in Singapore, because kita kerja kita so stressed tau. And Singaporeans are like one of the most stressful countries to live in, to work in, so that's where mental health is quite neglected, and of course, like it's good that our president is acknowledging this as a a concern. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, apa ni dekat dalam resume, I want to apply the section whereby kalau kirakan whereby you declare whether you pernah masuk prison, and then there's this line whereby it says whether were you diagnosed or something. So it kind of like supported us, because the president don't want us to feel prejudice kalau kita nak pergi interview, and then aku nak kena circle yes because I was on medication for mental illness, but then I feel like I'm better now. Macam, does that piece of paper determine whether I'm able to get the job or not? Because this interviewer have not seen my work yet. Dia cuma nampak aku circle that yes. That could be a stigma for them to macam, alamak, dia ni circle ni mental illness. Tak payah ambil dah, kita ambil dia person. So I lost that chance already. So
Yeah,
bila I
yeah.
found that news, I was like, I was so grateful that actually Singapore is actually seeing this as something that is normal lah, kira kan macam tak payah, kau tak payah takut, I'm still a human, whereby you also who are undiagnosed might have classic traits and symptoms, maybe tak sampai don't need to be diagnosed, but have the tendencies of someone with you know issues with mental illness lah. So yeah, like you say also lah, kalau once the company is well aware of this, they are supporting this, and then they give out macam courses, or they say okay, you guys may have mental health awareness day or something like that. Because when I was in my recent job in Red Cross, my director was a nurse. So definitely she knows about my condition. Dia dah tahu because she is a nurse herself, so she is well equipped with all this knowledge. So my director said, my director, I can tell you, she is like, Serincha, you are like the best director ever in this world, I tell you, because she really fought for me as a mental health warrior, and she also fought for other staff to have a work-life balance. Dia kalau time dah habis kerja lepas pukul 6, korang balik, there's no need for you to do OT. But then, if there's a need, obviously, you finish your work lah. But then, she has, we have mental health wellness hour, and then she even got me to do apa ni, like a sharing session, like kira kan macam because there is trainings and workshop lah that all staff have to go through, and then she tasked me to be one of so-called the trainer for mental illness awareness. So I've been giving talks, like not only like dekat luar in public, I am able to contribute at my own workplace, which I feel supported, needed, and I'm able to make use of my experience on top of my knowledge, on top of my education in social work, to use it for my peers, my colleagues, my community, and hopefully the world lah. Hopefully macam satu global lah tengok this seeker session.
Masya Allah, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah.
And I think due to the time, I think we definitely hope that we could get Aidil on another separate session and to
InsyaAllah.
continue with this topic, because when we want to discuss and elaborate further into this mental health punya topics, it's not sufficient. Not sufficient. Even if you give us 8 to 5, 8 hours of solid discussion non-stop, right? Even that particular timing also won't be sufficient to cover every various topics, because we are relating with life events, life experience, the actual facts and knowledge on how to's and what not to's, and there's a lot of factors that comes into place, especially when we want to talk about this topic where it's so delicate in terms of our approach and our whatever that come out from our comment or our input is so delicate, because one slight misleading information can be a very I would say it can be quite drastic, because people might use it wrongly and people might perceive it wrongly, negatively. So I hope, Alhamdulillah, and today's session is sufficient enough for us to at least for a start, sebagai mukadimah, sebagai pembukaan, and in this beginning stage for us to understand and aware at least, because that's the first phase, aware. And like just now we do quite a extensive discussion, and to take away from what Aidil mentioned, right, to have to be the listening ears to kita punya loved ones, to be well informed, and to understand that we have to be there for them, to calm them every time when they are in panic attacks or whatever that they are going through. So it's very crucial, and for all this information to be practiced on our daily life, insyaAllah. So I want to take this opportunity, masyaAllah, to thank our special speaker, or special guest for tonight, Aidil Arsad, for coming
Thank you.
down to Seeker's Nest Media and to share his experience, knowledge, and life experience. MashaAllah, and it's so valuable. Not just to me, myself, or Shema, is to those who are listening and watching our show, inshallah. And inshallah, we will have another session for this topic about mental illness. And inshallah, I would like to wish, because tadi belum sempat, sekarang nak wish Aidil selamat Hari Raya, a very belated selamat Hari Raya. Tapi pasal kita masih lagi semangat Hari Raya, so I just want to wish Aidil selamat Hari Raya. And for those out there yang tak tahu, I also want to give another wish to Aidil. He recently celebrate dia punya birthday, so I want to wish him happy birthday. Masya Allah. May Allah bless you and shower you with all happiness and prosperity, insyaAllah.
Amin, amin, insyaAllah. And thank you to both of you for inviting me. I am very humble. I hope that there are more people out there are making good use of platforms like this to create awareness, to spread positivity, and also you never know, whatever that you share may impact someone, because it did on me. And alhamdulillah, look where I am now. I am passing the torch to someone else. So I hope that my sharing today is beneficial. Although tak banyak, although I am not a professional, I hope there are some takeaways that all the viewers of this Seeker session able to read. And also, kalau korang nak part 2, don't forget to like and share.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
how can we find you on Instagram? Is it under your name, Aidil Arsad, on Instagram?
Yeah, so it's
okay.
like AIDILARSAD, Aidil Arsad.
Okay, can.
For those
Yes.
viewers out there, we will link his Instagram, Aidil Arsad Instagram link on our Facebook description below on this live video, inshallah. And also we will link all the necessary information that we have discussed on this topic, inshallah. And I would like to thank again Aidil Arsad and for coming down tonight, right, on our Seeker session. And thank you Shema also for giving out a lot of expressive punya inputs because it's very
very good.
It's very important for us to actually have a three-way punya discussion here. And alhamdulillah, and inshallah we will meet again on our next session. For our viewers out there, please stay safe, right? Stay at home, duduk rumah aja, okay? And have a good one, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.